Imagine that right now as you're going about your business, sitting there, standing there, lying there, that there's a hidden disease inside your body that is damaging your heart muscle and the arteries that feed your heart, that is damaging your kidneys and decreasing your kidney function, that is damaging the nerves in your legs and feet and toes, and it's increasing your risk of neuropathy. Well, that very well could be happening to you right now. Watch the rest of this video and listen carefully, because I'm going to explain to you why this is maybe happening to you, probably happening to you right now, and you don't even know about it, and neither does your doctor. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with over 20 years of clinical experience. Let's talk about prediabetes and how you might have it and not even know it. On the Center for Disease Control's website, they estimate that over 96 million people in the United States alone suffer from prediabetes. And that sounds terrible, and it is, but the really egregious part of this is that 8 out of 10 of those people do not know they have prediabetes, either because they haven't been to the doctor, or more likely, they have been to the doctor and their idiot doctor didn't know which test to check or how to interpret those tests to tell whether they have prediabetes or not. The problem is that prediabetes is very insidious. You can have it for a decade and have no outward symptoms or signs. You're not like your car's dashboard. You don't have a little light that starts flashing that says, prediabetes, prediabetes. Well, actually you do, but only your doctor can see that. Without going to see your doctor, then you could have it and have no idea until permanent damage is done. Now, the most common scenario where this is missed, even if you've been to your doctor and had blood work checked, is that your doctor will just check your fasting blood glucose or fasting blood sugar, and it's either normal or it's a little bit high. And at that point, your doctor stops investigating. So here's the truth of the matter. You could actually have severe prediabetes and have a normal fasting blood sugar, or it just be a few points high. You could actually be a severe type 2 uncontrolled diabetic and have a normal fasting blood sugar. And so every year, out of the 96 million people that have prediabetes and that are suffering from it and having permanent damage being done at this very second, probably 80 million of them have been to their doctor and had blood work, but their doctor didn't do anything about it. Even though they had all of the risk factors, they were in the right age group, they were over 40, they were a little overweight, they may have had a little bit of high blood pressure. The doctor didn't do a thorough examination, and so they get to go home and wait for another year to have labs repeated while continuing daily damage is done to every single cell and tissue in their body. Now, the reason most doctors make this mistake that could absolutely destroy your life, is because they don't know better. They've been trained back in the last decade or two. Doctors were trained that as long as someone's hemoglobin A1C is under 7, that's probably pretty good. That's actually not what the research showed. That's not the take-home message the doctors should have gleaned from that study, but very often that's what they took home from the study. And so the definition of prediabetes, as it's going to be defined in most doctors' office, is a hemoglobin A1C from 5.7 to 6.4. Okay? Now, anything above 6.4 is actually type 2 diabetes. And as I said earlier, you can have a normal fasting glucose on your lab work and still have a very high hemoglobin A1C, and your doctor's completely blind to that fact unless your doctor orders a hemoglobin A1C. And then even after that's been ordered, many doctors will say something like, oh, your A1C is just a few tenths of a point high, it's 5.8, it's no big deal. We'll watch it, we'll check it again next year. This is idiotic, dangerous advice, and I'm about to tell you why. More and more research is revealing that pre-diabetes, even though it's not yet full-blown type 2 diabetes, I think we should start calling it early diabetes instead of pre-diabetes, because you're absolutely being damaged. So here's a study from the American Journal of Kidney Diseases, which shows very clearly that prediabetes increases your risk of glomerular hyperfiltration and albuminuria. These are bad. These are signs of kidney damage. So this study makes it quite clear, along with other studies, that when you have prediabetes, even if you have no symptoms, you are damaging your kidneys and you are harming your kidney function. This study from the British Medical Journal, titled Association Between Prediabetes and Risk of Cardiovascular Disease and All-Cause Mortality, shows very clearly that even though you have no symptoms and you don't have full-blown type 2 diabetes, that your heart muscle and the arteries that feed your heart muscle are being damaged on a daily basis if you have prediabetes. And the really terrible part is it's doing the damage whether you've been diagnosed or not, whether you know you have it or not, whether your doctor's in the dark or not, you're still the one being damaged. And then this study from the journal Pain Medicine, Neuropathic Pain and Diabetes, Prediabetes, and Normal Glucose Tolerance. Again, we see very clear evidence that the nerve fibers in your legs, in your fingers, in your hands, in your feet, and in your toes, these nerve fibers are being damaged years before you develop type 2 diabetes, maybe a decade or more. And indeed, many people, that's how they know they've developed prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, is because they start to feel that terrible, numb burning in their toes at night when they're trying to go to sleep. And they know something's wrong. They go see their doctor, and very often they're turned away with the advice, oh, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. I'll see you in a year. So I want this video not to make you furious at your doctor. What I want this video to do for you is to empower you so that you know which tests to ask for when you go see your doctor for your once-a-year checkup, or if you happen to be having blood drawn for some reason. Just to be safe, if you're over the age of 30 and you're going to the doctor for any reason and they're going to draw blood, you're going to say the following: Doctor, could you please add a hemoglobin A1C test and a C-peptide test to the blood work that you're going to draw? Because I would like to know if I'm pre-diabetic. And so the reason you need both of those is because even if your hemoglobin A1C is still currently normal, but your insulin level, your C-peptide is elevated, you have prediabetes, and you're already doing the damage. Now, your doctor may argue with you about this. If she does, you can go find another doctor, or you can go to one of the standalone lab clinics that you'll find in some malls and just say, hey, check my hemoglobin A1C and my C-peptide. I want to see if I'm pre-diabetic or not. If you're not pre-diabetic, then congratulations. If you turn out that you are pre-diabetic, your hemoglobin A1C is even 1/10 of a point above normal. If it's 5.7 or higher, you've got prediabetes and you're doing damage to all the parts of your body I talked about previously. If your C-peptide is even 1/10 of a point high, then you are hyperinsulinemic, which is the very first sign of prediabetes. You are doing damage to all those tissues and cells each and every day of your life. Now, your next question might be, okay, Dr. Berry, but I've got prediabetes. What do I need to do about it? Well, what you need to do about it is reverse it, is get completely rid of it, so that you're no longer doing that damage to your nerves, to your heart muscle, to your liver, to your kidneys, to your brain, to your testicles, to your ovaries, to all the important parts of your body that you want to keep working. I have several videos on this channel that I'm going to link to in the show notes below that are about prediabetes and how I reversed my prediabetes, and how you can reverse your prediabetes too. Also, links to all the research I used in the making of this video are down in the show notes as well. I want you to take charge of your health, and one of the very first and most important ways you can do that is to know what your hemoglobin A1C level is and what your C-peptide level is. With that information, you will know immediately if you are pre-diabetic or not. I hope this video helps a lot. If it helped you, maybe it'll help somebody else. Consider sharing it. This is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.